Hey Clashers, because of the Christmas event, everyone does have more resources to upgrade their equipment. The question now is, well, what is the best equipment for every single hero? Which equipment should you upgrade for better success in your attacks? Depending on your strategy, your town hall, you see already there's a lot of things to consider. I will rank every single equipment for every single hero dependent on your town level and obviously on your strategy you're playing, because this is having a big impact on whichever equipment you're going to use. As well, a really important information is that every equipment is having two types of stats, which means the first thing is the ability, which means this one can be either active or passive, but it's only affecting the ability. Then on top of that, every equipment has passive hero stats, which means those stats are then for the hero for the entire attack and are not only connected to the hero ability, which is really important for some equipment where the ability might be bad, but then the stats are really good, or the other way around. So you always have to make sure that you're considering that for your choice of the best equipment. But let's start things off with the first one. Let's start things off with the king. And with this first ranking on the screen, you can tell already, guys, this new epic equipment is insane. Every single ranking is always from the left to the right. And as well, guys, we have to take a look and take in consideration what strategy you're playing. So let's start at the beginning with air spam, which is, for example, Lector Dragons, Dragon and Dragon Riders, Super Dragons, all of the great stuff. But what should you use? Well, you should for sure use the epic equipment in combination with a vampire stash, because typically your king is really far on the outside, helping funneling and stuff, which means you want to make sure that he's staying as healthy and as well as slow, because this means he's staying closer to your queen and can tank damage for her. With that being said, that's exactly why I have ranked those equipments like I did. As well, a really big disclaimer, the earthquake boots, I mean, on level 1, they already open up walls, so you don't really need to level them that much. And on top of that, I feel like they are really, really base dependent. The only strategy where they can be somehow made successful in most attacks is maybe a smash attack, which means super bonus, zap titans, all of those type of attacks. That's why we have those different categories. Next on, we have the Queen Charge. In a Queen Charge, I feel like in most of those Queen Charge attacks, you want to have a quick dive into a compartment to take down maybe a scatter, defending hero, or something like that. You do not need the sustain of, for example, the Vampire Stash. Instead, you want to have a quick strike to make sure that you can take down the entire compartment. The perfect combination for that is an ability which makes your hero more tanky, but at the same time deals splash. And well, you can even boost that further up with using the Rage ability then as well, and combine that really perfectly. The Super Archer Blimp as well is there, where I feel like pretty obvious you want to have the sustain on the king as well. That's pretty much what you're going for. And as well, if you're a lower town level and you might have not unlocked certain things on this ranking, or you have not leveled certain things on this ranking, this is where you can always go like one to the right and see, okay, do I have this? Then I take this. I don't have this? Well, then I go further to the right to make sure that you can pick the perfect combination. This is why I have this ranking. So for example, with the Super Archer Blimp, you don't have the epic equipment, you don't have the Vampire Stash, well, then you would just use the default, and so on. But let's move on to the last one, which is the Hero Dive. The Hero Dives overall, I feel like it's kind of the same as with a Queen Charge, where you want to have your king charge into a compartment, take down everything which is in there really quickly, because it's not about the sustain. It's not like a drawn out attack where the king is going to stay alive the entire attack. No, he's supposed to go in quickly into the compartment, take down everything he's supposed to, and that's pretty much it. A hero dive means, for example, after a super wizard blimp, after, for example, some lightnings openings, things like that are for sure a good opening, or the Sketty Donut. Otherwise, this is overall my ranking, which I would prioritize level-wise. We'll talk later about then how you should manage your level. Like, should you always try to max out your equipment or not? We will do that later on. For now, we will just take a look at the priority for each hero and for each equipment. And this means we're moving on with the ranking for the Queen. This might surprise you, but let me explain first off, because it's pretty much the same in every single strategy. For air spam, electro dragons, and so on, I think the invisibility cloak is just really, really clutch. You can combine it, I think, sometimes with, like, for example, the Healer Jaw and the arrow, you can combine those two as well. But I feel like the invisibility is always such a clutch thing that I feel like it's just such a big game changer. With that being said, you can tell that the Queen Charge is the only strategy where I feel like we have to switch the equipment up. For every other strategy, it doesn't matter if it's air spam, smash attack, super archer blimp, or hero dives, I feel like it's always the classic combination of the invisibility with the Healer Jaw. You can use maybe the arrow if you want to, and otherwise, well, the worst is always the the archer puppet. Another thing is though, why is the archer puppet better for example, the Queen Charge? Well, for that, I have to really keep you in mind that, again, we have those different stats. So if you take a look now at the archer puppet, we can tell, well, it's giving our queen the hero boost of health and damage. If we take a look at the Healer Jaw now, for example, this gives us self-healing for the queen and hit points. We don't need those stats on a Queen Charge. Instead, we need damage. Most damage is best for a Queen Charge. The same thing goes with the Giant Arrow. It overall is the same stats as, for example, the Archer Puppet, but if both are at the same level, the Archer Puppet is outclassing the Giant Arrow when it comes down to the just DPS number. And this is the important number for your Queen Charge. You have already the safety net of the Invisibility Cloak with this Invisibility Vial, which means the safety, you have this already equipped. But this means now you need passive damage to do not have any time fails, which means you're just equipping whatever equipment is giving you the most damage, even if the ability is not that great. And this is why in a Queen Charge, the Archer Puppet is better than any other equipment combined with the invisibility. That might be hopefully the explanation you're looking for, and why I think the Archer Puppet for Queen Charge attackers is super crucial. With that being said, we have the King, we have the Queen. Let's take a look at the Warden. The Warden overall is a really, really strong hero, which means actually he is pretty crazy. He got even better compared to before the update. And the reason for that is now you can combine the Eternal Tome now ability with a way stronger ability, because the Life Gem, which is like passively gaining you the HP, was most of the time kinda not the best choice. Instead, the Healing Tome is just insane. The combination of Eternal Tome and Healing Tome is just, in my opinion, a little bit game-breaking, to be honest, because it is just crazy. And why does it work? Let me explain. The Eternal Tome ability is going to make your troops invincible for around about like 9.5 seconds if you have it maxed out. On level 15, it's like 9 seconds or something. So overall, quite a long time. During that time, your troops cannot take any damage. When you activate the ability, you have this invincibility for this specific time frame. But at the same time, if you activate the ability, you activate the Healing Tome, which then is going to, if maxed out, for 25 seconds, heal your troops with 150 HP per second. This is crazy, because for those 9.5 seconds, you're healing your troops with the defensive, not doing any damage to your troops. So you can heal them back up, and then have passive healing for the next 16 seconds. It is crazy how good those two abilities synergize, and it's the best combination straight up in pretty much every single attack. Whenever you have those two unlocked, you're going to do way better with all of those different strategies. The only strategy which is benefiting more from the Rage Gem is, that's right, the smash type attacks. The reason for that is because you get a lot of value not only from the ability, but as well from the stats of the Rage Gem. Let's quickly do a double check with the other strategies. Queen Charge, again, the follow-up. You always want to have the Warden with the Healing Tome. You can do some fancy stuff if you have the Queen and the Warden together as a Queen Charge. You could use the Rage Tome or something, or like the Rage Aura, but it is a really rare use case. So overall, for most Queen Charges, you want to have with the follow-up of Hybrid, of Root Riders, of Lalo, whatever you want to have the Healing Tome. It is just really, really good. The same thing with a Super Archer Blimp. You want to have, if you do not have invested the Warden into the Blimp, just have the passive healing. The same thing goes with the Hero Dive, as with like Hawk's follow-up, Loon's follow-up, whatever. But now, with having the Rage Gem, why is it better for the Super Bolus? Let me explain, let me show you. The Rage Gem, again, the passive stats are really crucial. Which means, A lot of times with the Super Bowler, Electro Titan, or whatever a smash type of attack, you're doing a Warden walk in the beginning. And time is such an important thing for you as a smash attacker because time is really crucial and is not always on your side. With that being said, take a look at the stats. DPS increase and attack speed increase. This is like the perfect dream for any smash attacker. It is not even about the aura, it is all about the stats which you're getting. The aura is just then like the cherry on the cake because you have the rage aura non-stop on your healers and on your bowlers. But there is a really important thing. This aura does not stack with rage spells. This is the reason why this aura is not good with, for example, air spam, like Electro Dragons. You would guess Electro Dragons with this one, let's go, really nice. Well, not really, because there's a really important mechanic which you have to know, and that is always the best rage effect is considered for the troops. A rage spell is 180% of bonus damage, while this rage aura on the max level is 50%. Which means if you have the rage aura and you have 5 rages for your Electro Dragons and you rage them up anyways, the aura is doing nothing. On top of that, the Warden is attacking quicker with more damage, so it's more likely that he's taking down buildings which the Electro Dragons could have attacked and could have gotten chains. So overall, it's a really bad combination. The healing to keep your Electro Dragons or whatever dragons alive is just so much better. That's why I said it. The Rage Gem is just really good with smashes. With pretty much anything else, it is not that optimal. With that being said though, we have now the King, the Queen, the Warden, so the Royal Champion is left. Well, we don't have that much variety here, but I think this is a really good point where we can now take in consideration what level should you upgrade. Because the abilities of the Royal Champ are insanely strong, especially because the Royal Champ as a hero got even more important because of the Fox. And that's kind of crazy, just because of the pet edition of the Fox and how strong it is, it makes the Royal Champion indirectly even more important and even stronger in your attacks as well. And the Seeking Shield is really, really good and really important to get to the higher level to make sure that you can one-shot later on, like cannons and stuff like that, which is really important overall. The next thing, the Royal Gem gives you HP more, or like more HP back, is increased your hit points, is increased your DPS. Like, this is perfect for the Royal Champion. And this is why those two things for the Royal Champ are super, super important. And with the Fox, especially for the max players, even more important. But now, which hero should you prioritize? Well, overall, my priority list when it comes down to heroes, I would say overall, most of the time, epic equipment first. And after that, it is always Royal Champ, Warden. I would say then Queen, and then King. But again, it is kind of like King is indirectly first because he has the epic equipment. And now, the thing is, how far should you upgrade them? Let's take a look at the Barbarian King, the new epic equipment. Because with those stats, you can clearly tell already that some level are really crucial. So for example, with this list, you can see on the level 9, he gets another second of the duration of his ability. The same thing with the level 15, the same thing with level 21, for example. So the majority of the important stats are in the middle level of this equipment. So this is why I would highly recommend to you to either, depending on how many of those resources you have and which town level you have, to either upgrade this equipment to level 9 or level 15. For the higher town level players to level 15, and for the lower town level players to level 9. And you should be already pretty good, because overall the max amount of the duration is 17 seconds, for example. So having unlocked 15 seconds already on level 15 with not even having to pay half the price of how expensive this is overall, is really, really important. And this is kind of something which every single equipment has. It always have those thresholds, which you need to make sure that you're upgrading to this point to make it as efficient as possible. And this is, as I said, for every single equipment the same. Which means you have the entire list in the description from me, which is like a document where I've put all of those numbers in, so you can like check for your specific equipments, because that will be too long for the video. But overall, the majority, most important checkpoints is like level 9 and level 15 for most of those equipments, to make sure that you always get those leveled to this specific level. Getting things max is obviously nice to have, but it's not really necessary to make those equipments worth it. So overall, I would just highly recommend you remembering those two levels. For the lower town level players, or like middle town level players, to level 9, then it's for sure usable and really, really strong. And on level 15 it's even better for like the higher town level players. And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it overall you have to consider and you have to remember and know with upgrading your equipment. I really hope that was helpful, and I hope that you now find your best equipment for your strategy with this guide. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, let me know down below in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you guys back with the next Clash video really soon. Until then, see ya and bye bye.